Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Kodeations coming at you today with another video on Skylanders Ring of Heroes. And today we're going to be diving into something a little bit different. We're not going to be covering a whole lot of gameplay today. Instead, we're actually going to be diving into a very important resource that I want you guys to be able to know about and utilize, and last but not least, contribute to as well. Because this resource, I'm telling you guys right now, do not sleep on it. This is going to be an absolute master guide that will basically help anybody from pre-to-play to whales in the game, or people that are just basically brand new to the game. Whether, like I said, no matter what their status is, they're going to be able to find that resource all in this specific master guide. So we're going to be taking a look at that today. But before we dive in, as always, if you are new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all of the latest and greatest mobile games, then you better smash that red subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you get a notification every time we drop a video. And with that being said, let's dive right in. Diving right in, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing we need to mention that is going to be that this master guide is a work in progress. So again, it's not going to be 100% complete. There's going to be some gaps. There's going to be some missing information, but that is going to be where you guys come in as players in the community. We are reaching out to you guys. Hopefully, if you guys have any additional information, maybe you have some of the information on the specific substats, maybe you have some of the missing information, or maybe you just have brand new information that we have not included in this master guide that you think should definitely be there. All you got to do is reach out to my buddy Alec in Discord. So he will be available for you anytime that you need him to be available. But make sure to send him some screenshots or some links to whatever information that you think is very viable, and that should be in the master guide. So again, if you have anything else to add, make sure you reach out to Alex. He is the mastermind behind putting all of this together. Thank you very much, dude. You've done a fantastic job. The next thing we've got here is obviously some of my videos that I have put out on Skylanders Ring of Heroes that has some really good information for you guys, especially as beginners or just starting out in the game. But the next thing that I want to also extend an invitation for any content creator that is currently out there creating content for the game, and that also does include the French community. If you guys want to be featured on this list right here, as you can see, we've got a couple content creators already. If you want to be featured on this list, all you've got to do is do the exact same thing. Send out your link to your channel or your Twitch over to Alec, and then whatever name you want to be featured by here on the left-hand column, and then we will definitely be sure to add you to that list. And with that being said, let's dive right in. First tab that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be the Adventure Chart and Tips tab. So we're going to hop over here. All right, diving into this a little bit. Now, what this is going to break down for you guys, as you can see on the left-hand side, we've got a difficulty. So we've got all three of them covered. We've got easy, normal, and hard. We've got the location, which is going to be the individual islands, so the 1 out of 10. And then we also have the 7th stage. Now, the reason why we only covered the 7th stage specifically on the Adventure Chart and Tips platform is going to be because we highly suggest that you are farming the boss stage no matter what level difficulty that you are currently covering. And again, it's going to all be based around your specific level, what you can farm the fastest, the most efficient. I mean, whatever it is that you are currently covering, it doesn't matter as long as you are pounding out the boss stages. Because here, as you can see over here, we put a little side tip just as a reminder for you guys. Stage 1 through 6 of each location gives you less resources than that boss 7th stage. So you want to make sure that you are not missing out on those additional, resources. So you definitely want to be grinding out that boss stage. So that's going to be basically why we have featured the 7th stage on all of the different difficulties. You can see the different stamina costs that it costs to run each stage. You can see the experience per, hero basically. And again, this is going to be based on a average because that number does vary for whatever reason. It varies. The same thing with the gold. It also varies per run. And then again, you can see the amount of, experience versus, stamina, and then gold versus stamina. And then you can also see the master experience. Okay, so that's going to basically give you guys an understanding. What makes this chart very, 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 useful is going to be the fact that you can actually utilize this to your advantage to figure out what specific stage is going to be more beneficial for you to farm. So to basically give you guys an example, maybe you're not looking to do, farm specific XP for your Skylanders. Instead, you are looking to farm that gold. Well, then you can definitely do that. You can come to the chart, look and see where you're getting the most gold per stamina. And that's where you can actually end up utilizing that stamina to farm specific gold. So again, it kind of gives you a general overview of what this chart is going to be about. If you want to dive more into this, it will be in the link below in the description. Feel free to share this to the maximum. All right, so the next one up that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be the gear stats chart. So I did feature both of these charts into my gear guide video. Again, you can find that on the very first page right here as the second video as a gear guide. We will be doing a more advanced gear guide coming out very, very soon, so stay tuned for that on the channel. But nevertheless, this is going to be those two charts. You can come in here and get a good understanding of what stats as a main stat or a substat drops on what specific type of gear. So again, it's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot to know here or really to do here besides just come back here periodically and reference these charts. So again, if you are looking to not waste any materials whatsoever investing in a specific type of legendary gear, then again, you could definitely come here and say, okay, I'm trying to build a crit rate % build, you know what I mean? If you're looking to get gloves or legs, for instance, you know, well, obviously you would know right away, well, I can't get crit rate on those, so maybe I've got a, you know, an attack set. I feel comfortable investing in that attack set because I know that I can't get a crit %, right? So it's basically going to be mid-maxing is what it's going to be. But nevertheless, these charts are very, very good and handy to have on point. The next one up we're going to be taking a look at is going to be that power up chart. So this is going to be diving into a little bit more of advanced stuff, but nevertheless, it's information that you're definitely going to want to know. So we're going to start down here at the upgrade of gear 4. Or 4-star gear or 5-star gear, whichever one you want to take a look at. But as you can see here, there is a lot of blanks, and that is going to be because we have just clearly not unlocked that gear yet, or we just haven't filled it in. So again, this is going to be where we are relying on you guys' help. Hopefully you guys can help contribute to a lot of that, of these additional stats and everything, because like I said, we are trying to build this specific chart or this master guide for anybody in the community to use, and that, again, like I said, that goes for other content creators. All right, so as you can see here, basically to give a rundown on exactly how this works, you can see all of the main stats that you can currently get right now in the game on pieces of gear or ether, whatever you want to call it. And then you can also see what the base values of those stats are. And then you can also see that what the additional value goes up to once you have plus them. So you can see that as a main stat here, once you increase the main, or you basically power up that piece of gear one time, you can obviously see that it pumps up from that 127 to that 159 in that specific main stat. So again, that's going to be basically be breaking down just anything and everything about main stats when it comes to what it actually upgrades to, and is it worth doing that upgrade on that specific piece of gear. All right, so that's going to basically be that. Oh, also one thing I forgot to cover on this is going to be the 5 different green points at the very, very top, and that's going to be the break points that you actually get a bonus roll into a stat, or you are granted a substat. So for instance, if your piece of gear is not legendary, and let's say it's a premium gear, a one piece of gear, it will only have a 1 substat, which then you could hold a total of 4. So these actual milestones will give you additional substats. But to give you guys an example on this, looking at this in terms of a legendary piece of gear, these little milestones will actually give you the bonus stats or the bonus rolls into whatever stat is currently on that piece of gear. So that's going to be why they're highlighted, just so you know and you're aware that every 3, 5, or 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15 give you that additional, you know, bonus stat. All right, moving on to the next chart, and that is going to be the gear upgrade cost. So I absolutely cannot stress that this one is going to be very, very important. And not only that, all of these legendary blocks, as you can see, the key to the right-hand side are going to be the missing information. So right now, currently, we've got a lot of players that are just now unlocking that 5-star gear and that 5-star legendary gear mark. And with that being the case, we're starting to fill this chart in a lot sooner, but a lot of players do not have that gear maxed out at 13, 14, and 15. If you happen to have that maxed out, I do not care as a free-to-play player or a whale, it doesn't matter. Please get a hold of us and fill in this information so, again, we can start getting that information out to the community as soon as possible. So everybody kind of knows what they are looking for. But to break down this chart, basically, it's pretty straightforward. But as you can see here, it's going to be the gold cost, the ether cost. So if you don't know, it does cost those ether crystals as well. And then also you've got the power up percentage, which is basically the success rate. And then we also have the bonus percentage that you get when you fail. We'll go over that in a second. And then we also have the recycle ether amount as well. So when you recycle that piece of gear, the amount of ether that you get, if you don't already know, as a side tip, that number is actually fixed when you recycle a piece of gear at a specific power up level. Now, Diving in a little bit deeper here, again, this is getting into a lot of advanced and min-max stuff. If you are a beginner and you are watching this video, I do apologize, but you should probably stop, pause the video, go over to my channel, watch the beginner's guide videos and the regular gear guide video before coming back here and trying to understand this, again, because it's going to be super confusing if you don't have that basic information or that basic knowledge on how gear works. But diving into this a little bit, like I said, so you can see currently on this stat right here, the base cost, okay, in order to equip and utilize that piece of gear as its base value is going to be in this first column. So one piece of gear you can see is going to have a power up success rate. So just at a base 0, at a plus 0, you can see that it's going to have a success rate of as 47.5% on a legendary 5-star piece of gear. Now, if you were to then fail multiple times, right, or let's say you were able to fail once, what happens is the game adds additional 2.3% to your success rate, okay? So that's going to be basically the game's fail safe on making sure that, or trying to help you and not failing to the point of getting 100%, because in theory, what will eventually happen, let's just say you got super unlucky, and it's very, very rare that this would ever happen, if at all, but let's just say you got a success rate of 0 where it literally never went through, and what actually would happen is your success percentage chance would basically continue to increase. So if you look at here on the screen, let's say your starting off rate here, as it says, is 47.5% chance to increase it, but you failed. So then obviously you gained 2.3%. So then obviously you move down the list. So then obviously, let's say you keep on failing, your percentage chance up here keeps on, you know, dropping, and in a sense what it should do if it was succeeding, but since it's failing, what you're gaining is you're actually gaining this bottom percentage. So you're going to keep on gaining this bottom percentage all the way to, yeah, eventually it will hit. You have no other choice but to 100% complete it as a 100% success rate. Therefore, you will get whatever that next tier up is. But again, you don't want to go down that path. Instead, like I said, that kind of gives you guys a general understanding of how it works. You're going to basically have this basic start here. So let's say you have a base 47.5%, you get a success, upgrading it to +1. Well, your chance actually, you know, goes down to push it to +2. So it's not a fixed success rate. It's always going to be varied depending on what stage you are. So again, I know a lot of players don't know that. That's something to keep in mind. But that's going to basically be how that is. Hopefully I explained that good enough. If I didn't, drop a comment down below. I'll try to elaborate a little bit better for you guys in the comment section. But again, it's a really, really cool guide to take a look at here. And like I said, a lot of this yellow is going to be stuff that we don't have unlocked yet, which is going to be clearly this 6-star gear and the 6-star heroic gear. I think some players are just now starting to get into that 6-star gear mark. Maybe. I don't even know if any player currently is, but nevertheless, that's going to be what this chart is going to be all about. The next thing up we've got is going to be a substat chart. Again, it's very, very pretty straightforward, but a very, very vital chart to take a look at and know what you're trying to do when it comes to mid-maxing. So this is going to be a little bit more focused around the in-game stuff, but to give you guys an example here, for instance, crit rate, if you're trying to build a stealth elf, you know, late game, and you wanted to basically max her out in as much crit rate as she can possibly have, well, in that case, you are currently looking for a substat starting out of 5%. Again, this is not final chart. If you happen to find any of these numbers, you know, are skewed or need to be increased or decreased anything, let us know down below in the comments. But currently, of our findings, we have found that 3% is going to be the minimum. And then we've also found 5 pieces of gear as well, or not 5 pieces of gear. Yeah, 5-star legendary and heroic gear that has also dropped at that 5% as its base substat. So if you're trying to min-max your account, you want to make sure that you get in here and check this chart frequently to make sure that whatever piece of gear that you are looking to invest in before you spend the resources, come over here and make sure that it is a max stat or a max substat and not a minimum substat. Same thing goes for the 6-star heroic here, but it basically says this table helps you know if the substat of the newly acquired gear or your recent power up is optimal. So it says you want to be closer to the best seen number for the min-max purposes. So again, it's kind of late game, but nevertheless, it needs to be in here for the sake of the video. The next one up there is going to be very, very, very new. We just added this, I believe today, and that is going to be the enchant bonus. So we're still working on this here as we unlock more enchants, and that includes you guys feel free to let us know what that is. Take some screenshots of that, share that with us, so then we can also feature that in here as well, because ultimately we would like to have all of the different, set bonuses, what those set bonuses do and everything on this enchant tab. So again, just to give everybody a general overview and understanding of what each individual one is and help out the community. All right, so moving on to the last but not least thing that I wanted to mention to you guys before we hop out of here, and that is going to be anything that you want to add, whether it's additional pages, whether it's additional tabs, whether it's additional information, anything and everything that you think that we should add, definitely get in contact with us. Let us know. We would love to hear from you guys, and I think that's going to be pretty much it for the sake of the video. So with that being said, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notification every time we drop a video, and I will see you guys in the next one.